Okay, so if you're sending emails for your business, your startup, or even just a personal project, you've got to know this. Your domain's reputation is absolutely everything. Today, we're going to build the ultimate protective shield for it. Let's get right into it.
So let me just ask you something, straight up. Think about your domain, your brand. Could somebody out there, a phisher, a scammer, just send an email that looks, for all the world, like it came directly from you?
And the answer, well, it's a little scary. It's a big, fat yes. They absolutely can. Without the right protections, your domain is just wide open for impersonation. But here's the good news. There's a powerful trifecta, just 3 simple text records you can set up that will slam that door shut for good.
So here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we'll get a handle on the domain impersonation problem. Then we'll break down our 3 heroes, SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. And finally, we'll talk about how to maintain this powerful digital signature so it stays strong.
All right, first up, let's talk about the problem itself. And I want to be really clear. This is not just about a few annoying spam emails. No way. When someone successfully impersonates your domain, they are actively chipping away at the trust you've worked so hard to build. It's a direct hit on your brand's integrity.
You know, this act has a name. It's called spoofing. And it's basically the digital version of someone forging your signature on a check. They can use your good name to send out fake invoices, spread malware, or just completely tank your deliverability. That's why we have to stop this at the source.
Okay, time to build our first wall of defense. It's called SPF. This is your foundation, the bedrock of your domain security. And it answers one very, very simple but critical question.
So what is SPF? It stands for Sender Policy Framework. It's just a public record, a little piece of text you add to your domain settings. And all it is you declaring to the rest of the world, hey, here is the official, authorized list of every single server that has my permission to send emails for me.
Honestly, the best way to think about this is like a super strict guest list at an exclusive party. When an email shows up at someone's inbox, the server acts like a bouncer. It checks the list. Is the sending server on it? Yep. Great. Come on in. If not, sorry, you're not on the list. You're marked as suspicious.
And this is what one looks like in the wild. I know it looks a little technical, but it's really pretty simple. This example is just saying, okay, servers from Google are cool and servers from SendGrid are cool. But that last part, that little all, that is the magic key. It tells all the other servers, if the sender is not on this list, I want you to reject the email. Don't even let it in the door. Okay, so SPF is great. It confirms who is allowed to send the email, which server. But what about the email itself? How do we prove that the message wasn't messed with after it was sent? For that, we need our next layer. That is exactly where DKIM comes in. It stands for DomainKeys Identified Mail. And what it does is add a really clever cryptographic signature to every single email you send. It's totally unique to your domain and to the specific content of that one email.
The analogy that just works perfectly here is a wax seal on an old-fashioned letter. That seal proved 2 things, right? Who sent it, and that nobody else opened it along the way. DKIM is the high-tech version of that, an invisible, unbreakable digital seal that verifies both the sender and that the message is exactly as it was when it left the sender.
So we have our guest list with SPF, and we have our tamper-proof seal with DKIM. Now we just need the manager, the boss, who tells everyone what the rules are and reports back on what's happening. And that, my friends, is DMARC. This is where it all comes together.
Now, what's cool about DMARC is it doesn't do any of the checking itself. It actually stands on the shoulders of SPF and DKIM. It's a policy that you publish, and it gives crystal clear instructions to receiving mail servers. You're basically saying, hey, if an email comes in claiming to be from me, but it fails either the guest list check or the seal check, here is exactly what I want you to do about it.
And the process is just beautiful in its simplicity. An email arrives. The server immediately checks for valid SPF and DKIM. Then it looks up your DMARC policy to see what you want it to do if there's a problem. And this part is huge. It sends a report back to you, so you get to see exactly who's out there trying to use your good name. This is where you really take control. You can roll out DMARC in stages, which is awesome. You can start with P equals none, which just monitors what's going on. Once you feel good that all your legitimate emails are passing, you can move to quarantine, which tells servers to just send the bad stuff to the spam folder. And finally, when you're ready, you enforce reject, which blocks those fraudulent emails completely. They never even make it to an inbox. Now look, setting up SPF, DKIM, and DMARC is a massive, massive step forward. But it's not a set it and forget it kind of thing.
Your digital signature, just like your real one, needs you to be vigilant to protect its value.
And once you've mastered this big three, there are other layers you can add to really lock things down. Things like CAA records, which control who can even issue security certificates for your site. Or DNSSEC, which is like a digital lock on all your DNS records. And MTA-STS, which makes sure the emails being sent to you are always encrypted. Think of these as the advanced toolkit.
And you don't have to figure all this out by yourself. There are some incredible tools out there to help you. DMARCian is fantastic for turning those DMARC reports into something you can actually understand. Google Postmaster gives you amazing insight into how Gmail sees your domain, and MXToolbox is just a must-have for checking up on your records. Monitoring is absolutely key.
So, let's just bring this all home. Your domain is so much more than a web address, right? It's your digital signature, it's your official letterhead, and it's your seal of approval all rolled into one. Protecting it isn't just some techie task, it is a fundamental part of protecting your brand and your reputation.
Which really just brings us to our final question. After seeing how all these layers work together to form this amazing protective shield, just take a second and ask yourself, is your digital signature, is your domain truly as protected as it should be?